What's up, everyone? This is Silver Slayer. This is by far, hands down, the most interesting video I've ever made on this channel. It's extremely important too because it's talking about the psychology of investing, of trading, impulse buying, panic selling, how to avoid this. Now, we're looking into the psychology of it, and many of you know I basically have a degree in psychology. I went to Stark State. It's in Akron. I'm 75% done with my CDCLs and my psychology degree associates. I was on the president's list every single semester. 4.0, straight A's. I didn't finish the degree because that's around the time Bitcoin took off with my channel, and I switched careers, shifted gears. I could always go back and take, a couple more semesters if I wanted to finish, but that's not really the direction I want to take my life right now. But regardless, psychology is definitely up my alleyway. I love digging deep into the mind, figuring out where fears and thoughts and anxiety stems from, and the deeper level of consciousness between the mind, the body, the soul, the spirit, whatever you want to go into. We could talk about that, but it does translate into investing because it's all about choices. And when you're investing, you're making choices. And a lot of times it's based emotionally. You're investing out of emotion. And that's why I always say invest with your head, not your heart. Now, this article from Kitco dives into the psychology of trading. And this is a great video. This is the video that sparked everything. It was posted yesterday. I'm subscribed to Kitco, so I saw this today on my feed, and it sparked a lot of curiosity in me, so I started watching it. And they have a lot of people that are investors trading and have a background in psychology. There's 3 different people in this interview, and it's fascinating. But I dug deeper. You know me. I dug deeper. I found a case study of people investing or panic buying during this pandemic. We have all different backgrounds. Women, men, Brazilians, everyone. They went deep into this and really got a nice case study because they went down to scale everything. And the results are staggering. I'll share at the end. They went into all these different correlations and mathematics, and it's insane. First things first, though, I'm announcing the winners of my $1,000 silver giveaway for reaching 40,000 subscribers. The video is premiering at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, so in 2 hours from now. Make sure you go tune in. It should, if you're subscribed with post notifications, it should already be on your timeline, and then around like 7:55 or whatever time you are. If you're on the West Coast, it'll be 3 hours earlier. So it'll be around 5 p.m. for you. But regardless, make sure that you are keeping an eye out, because you don't want to miss this. This is a giveaway. This is definitely a giveaway that broke records. I mean, I've never done a giveaway this big. But anyways, I wanted to mention that because I told you guys today I would announce the winners. So check that video out. It is being premiered at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. Now, impulse buying and panic selling is definitely an interesting I guess, topic, because we don't think about how much investors think about, decision making on buy low, sell high. But there's a lot more that goes on beyond that. And I think that's why I was so successful with Bitcoin back in 2017. Because you have to think about, especially markets that are based solely off speculation, you have to think about how other people will invest. You don't think about yourself. You almost have to take it one step ahead and think about the other person, or how the other person is going to cope or react to that situation, and then the decision making that they're going to do in regards of that situation. And if you can get into the mind of the average person Because remember, you might not respond the same as the average person. So you have to think about, what most people would do or how they would invest. And it really does get deep, a lot deeper than I think people realize. And you can apply that to silver stacking as well, especially since speculation is entering the market more than ever. And when you have a pandemic, a global pandemic on top of it, it just multiplies everything times 10. And this article, this case study is insane. Now, let's go into the abstract, right? So, fear is a powerful driver of human behavior, even more during times of crisis. Panic buying occurs when fear and panic influence behavior, leading people to buy more things than usual. So far, no specific scale on this has been found in major databases. So, they do this case study. So, we have 393 Brazilians, 251 women, 142 men. And they go over panic buying, impulse buying, temporal focus, optimism, risk perception, need for cognition. And they did this from April 10th to May 4th. So here's the introduction. I'm going to post a link to this in the description. I'm not going to go over everything. I'm going to highlight the main points. So they talk about what panic buying is, or impulse buying, panic selling, what it feels like, feelings of anxiety and fear of the future, fear of the unknown, fear of missing out, all that type of stuff, what happens. But then they go over the method, the instruments, the scale, so all that. But anyways, I want to really go down to the results. I want to go to the results because I do also like how they explained what you could do. So, let's go here. It's down here. It's right here, sorry. Where did I find it? Discussion. So, our findings suggest that PBS is psychometrically acceptable in the Brazilian context, including evidence of its convergent validity. Besides satisfactory psychometric properties, PBS can be considered a good option of measure because it's not a long scale, which promotes boredom, fatigue, lack of attention, and the rate of dropout. The instrument is able to differentiate groups, example, gender. Additionally, PBS was positively correlated with the impulse buying past and future temporal focus, risk perception, and socioeconomic class perceived, as well as negatively correlated with present temporal focus, optimism, and age. Although female reported higher rates of fear of COVID than males, our findings revealed that men showed higher levels of panic buying than women. Men, higher levels of panic buying. Accordingly, even though men feel less fear than women, the relationship between worry and buying is more predominant in men. These results also shed light regarding the coping strategies used by gender face of fear, revealing that excessive buying could be more associated with males. Furthermore, gender differences are also seen in other kinds of consumer behavior, such as impulse buying, compulsive buying, and conspicuous consumption. By the way, shout out to all the women that are watching this video. It's International Women's Day, so shout out to all you. So, the correlation between PBS and impulse buying was the highest because both behaviors are related to emotional states. That's why I always try to say, take the emotion out of it. When the price is high, everyone's talking about it. So many people are validated that it's profitable and that it could skyrocket. And then it goes down and people feel like it's going to crash, lose all validity, lose all faith. And that's why you have to understand. You have to have faith. You have to understand the true value of whatever you're investing into. Because when it goes down, you'll see it as an opportunity. You won't fear that it's going to crash more. So let's go deeper into this. So optimism was also correlated with panic buying. The negative correlation between PBS and dispositional optimism is understandable. If individuals who have more positive expectations about the future tend to be less anxious, which is, of course, that can translate into anyone's actual life, then they may engage less in panic buying. Indeed, in times of prevention by wearing masks and face shield locks, individuals with high levels of dispositional optimism could also have a psychological shield for cultivation or cultivating more widespread positive expectations about future events. So in this case, when the predominant temporal focus of individuals on the past or the future, people have a higher tendency to think and reflect on facts that have occurred, or to imagine what is coming in future days. So it is interesting to think about, because investors always say there's a difference between investing and gambling. And investors, since we make strategic decisions, we look at patterns of the past, we look at, what's going to happen in the future, and how both of those will affect or could affect, especially the future, the prices, the markets. And since we do have an idea of the excessive spending of Joe Biden and what stimulus is going to do to the dollar strength and how that is correlated to silver prices, we get a good sense of idea. But silver is one of the only things that we know we can connect the dots with. Stocks is up in the air because it depends on the recovery. We don't know how soon we're going to recover, but we do know that it's a fact, it's a guaranteed fact, it's already set in stone that we're going to be throwing trillions of dollars out, and we already know how that's going to affect precious metals price. So silver stackers have a much stronger plan, a much safer, smarter plan, strategy than anyone who's investing into anything else. And that's probably why so many people are confused and panicking right now, because they still have no sense of direction on what things are going to do or where their investments are going to go, whether it's up or down. So socio-psychological considerations that address what and why the behaviors of individuals shown during the coronavirus crisis will be important studies in the future to provide data that manage public decisions that affect individuals and society. So, when they go into a lot of different stuff, I try to just tell you stuff you need to know. So personal disruptive events could also be related to panic buying and psychological disorders, panic fear related symptoms, and that's true. If you're dealing with a divorce or something traumatic in your life, that could also influence your investing. So that's something that a lot of people don't think about. I never really thought about that. If you're going through something stressful in your life, that could translate into your investing, and that could be even worse. Imagine going through a terrible situation, a stressful situation, and then you start making bad decisions with your money, and then it gets even worse. So be careful. Try to think rationally. Try to take all the emotional attachment out. So they go into some of the solution. So if the pandemic is not completely under control, there may be new peaks of panic buying, and studies conducted throughout a stressful event may bring new findings about this. So, besides focusing on the problems of panic buying behavior, investigations should also identify the consequences of this impact. So, family, financial problems, mental health. Only a body of empirical research will provide some findings and cues for public policymakers and health professionals, avoiding shortcuts in the retail market and creating strategies for mental health promotion. And when we're looking at this from an investing or an investing standpoint, it really does show us how our mental state, how us as an individual, how we're programmed, translates into silver stacking, into strategizing with your investments. A lot of people don't think of it like that, but humans are a lot deeper, a lot more complex than we think, and that we know, and that we realize or want to acknowledge or admit. And it really does translate into our investments, because everything is based off of decisions under pressure, last minute decisions, right? Things on the spot. That's why I always try to put a barrier. If you're going to go to the coin shop and buy silver, only put $200 in your pocket and don't take your debit card or credit card in, so you only can buy that, or that's how much. Or if you're willing to sell to someone, say, I'm not going to sell anything less than this amount, or I'm not going to buy anything more than this. Set that number and stick to it. Because when you're making those last second decisions, that's where the irrational decision making comes in. That's where the justification and all the excuses come in, and you really got to be careful because we're dealing with money here. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up. I thought this was an interesting type of video. I definitely never made a video like this. I've talked about panic buying, impulse. I've talked about panic selling, impulse buying, but nothing to this rate. I thought these results were pretty interesting, especially since they broke it down at such a deep level. So, if you want to check this article out, the link will be in the description. Make sure you go check out the winners of my 40,000 subscriber giveaway. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.